Good evening and welcome back, Poetry Lovers. It is I, ZM Wise, and here I am with Miss Catherine Bradley, also known as Kat. And she is going to give us an overview of her work, what inspires her, what makes her so joyful, and how she's preparing for her upcoming featured reading. So, Kat, tell us how you got started in poetry.
Well, I give it to my best friend, Rebecca. She is the most mature and beautiful poet I've ever known. And I was going through just a lot of experiences and a lot of emotions, and she recommended that I just take it out on the poetry. And so I sat down with a pen and a notebook, and I also had thesaurus.com open, and I just went for it. So I think I got into it with Becca.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us about some of your key influences, whether they're people or forms of poetry or art or books or literature in general. Tell us about your influences.
Well, my influences could be, I think my grandma, because she is really liberal and spiritual and really amazing, and she has a couple of poetry books that's been published that I read, and she's just the wisest person I know and the most intellectual person I know, and so she influences me to write too.
Splendid, splendid. You were telling me recently about this spiritual journey through the mountains. Can you give us a little bit of an overview on that, and tell us how that impacted you and your work?
So last summer, I spent 3 weeks on a backpacking trip where I went to northern New Mexico, and I met up with 9 strangers. I had no idea who they were. They were all women. And we were to hike for 3 weeks. And at the end of it, we became like sisters. You know, we were the closest people. And I went with the Boy Scouts, so I know I'm a girl. I'm with what's called Venture Crew, which is a co-ed branch of the Boy Scouts, and they have opportunities for girls. And what this program was called was Rayado, and so we hiked for 3 weeks, and the mission of it was to challenge us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so we hiked, I think at the end of it, 200 miles. And so I was definitely challenged physically, and there was many lessons there with just keep hiking on, you know, like it was a mind over body thing. My feet hurt so bad, and my whole body was just in such pain, but I just had to keep walking, and it was my mind that said you can do it, and it just happened. Like there was one day where we hiked 25 miles from 3 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I thought I was just going to collapse. And my brain shut off, but my legs just kept moving. And so that showed me the power of the human body. And there was also an experience we had where we were isolated in the woods for 48 hours with just a notebook, a pen, and a sleeping bag and a tarp. And so we made our own shelters, and they brought food to us. It was like a granola bar and like a Slim Jim for a whole day, you know. And I definitely had to be with my own thoughts for that long, and that terrified me. I was so scared to be alone by myself. But going through that experience taught me the power of my mind and the power that I have inside of me to accomplish great things.
Mm-hmm.
And that inspired me to write poetry, and that influences my work and my everyday life with accomplishments and other things like that.
Splendid, splendid. So your featured reading is coming up at Nocturne. It'll be on February 5th, I believe. What are you doing to prepare for such an occasion?
Well, since I have just 2 weeks and I haven't written as much as I would like to, but every day, because nature is my biggest teacher,
mm-hmm.
and it's my therapy, and so what I'll do is there's no mountains around here, no breathtaking views or anything, but there's some trails that I go to with my notebook, and with thesaurus.com and a pen. So I'll go to the trail and write, or I'll go down by the docks with the water, find some place calm and quiet, and just start writing. I have a lot of emotions lately. A lot of experiences happened to me lately, and so I'm having ideas all the time. Like now that I've started to write a lot, like every once in a while I get an idea and I'll just write it down. And so I have this whole list of ideas to just, have a lot of fun with. And so before February 5th, I'm just gonna puke all over my poetry journal. And
that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
That definitely makes me even more hungry for dinner. Anyway, so those certain experiences, I'm not going to say them out loud, of course, but like how have they changed you? Like so your work prior to the experiences, how have those experiences changed your work?
Well, to give the viewer some context, I don't care.
Okay.
I was in a 3-year-long relationship, which is my first relationship, and I fell just head over heels. I was lost in love, and so all of my poetry was just love poems, because that's the sole thing I was experiencing, and I just ignored everything else. But about a month ago, we broke up, and it hit me really hard. But then I realized that there's so many other things to write about and to be passionate about, and other things that hit me. And so I think my poetry before the whole breakup was naive, is a word for it. And afterwards I just feel it gets more intellectual and experienced, and yeah. So
okay.
I can see the difference for sure.
Definitely. Okay, well, where can we find some of your work?
Where can we find it? Well, I guess not everyone has access to my personal poetry book. Maybe I'll start a blog or something. I'll get back to you. By February 5th, I can announce it in the recording featured video. I'll figure something out.
Definitely.
I'll figure something out.
Not that there's any pressure. No, alright, well, in that case, because of the time, we have about time for not 2, but 3 pieces.
3 pieces?
Yeah.
Okay. I can show everyone my process between naive and then going to more intellectual.
Right.
I'll need my phone, though, because I don't have everything
Go right ahead.
In my notebook. Okay. So this is
Go.
So this is the progression of me in the past couple months. Life, breathing, pulsing, laughing, exclaiming, caring, adoring, crying, desiring. I feel so warm, 2 benign bodies feeling so warm together. This relationship, this bondness we share, like any explosive experience. Our bodies pulsing to be closer, our hearts stretching out, our limbs entangled, our nerve endings on fire. This is what it feels like to be alive. Your laugh lifts my soul, your smile so incandescent. This joy we share, laughing together, weeping together, beaming together, exploring together. You have given me so many remarkable and unimaginable days. In your arms I feel a true and pure peace of mind. You fill my mind with such exuberant jubilation. You enchant my madly racing thoughts to blissful merriment. Granting, when our lips touch, my head is overcome with the most wild exhilaration. It's bizarre to think that one human being can have such an effect on me. Know that you, my love, are the only person on this planet that makes my heart beat faster at the sound of a name. A song plays that reminds me of you, and my soul is engulfed with infatuation. You make my every day worth living with a desire to see your sublime features, my eternal clock chiming down to when I can be by your side. You feel my motivation to be cheery on desolate days, and thinking of our shared memories can easily turn my thoughts into a more sweet setting. You make the sun's warmth feel so much more rapturous and the moonlight more enchanting. That's that one.
Beautiful.
And then that relationship ended, and I went through a troubling phase, so I'll read about that. This is in 2 parts. Both parts are called Recognize.
Okay.
Why do I allow myself to depend on vices? Why do I comfort myself with frailties? Because it feels equitable to allow my consciousness to relax through the hands of smoke wrapping around my throat. My head is chaotic with the recollections of our earnest memories. This chaos is afflicted to my heartstrings that are companion to the pool. The heartstrings now know an untried confidant. The elusive smoke collides with my lungs, where it cascades into my bloodstream, and I sense the stimulant subside my apprehension. This peace is addictive. Your love was addictive. What else am I supposed to do? The warm smoke replaces the warm memories. The appease from the neurotic reimburses the tranquility of being with you. So that's part 1. This is part 2 of recognize. Why do I allow myself to depend on vices? Why do I comfort myself with fertilities? Because it feels equitable to give my destitute soul the attention of another. My consciousness is concerned that this lover is erosionist, but my head is chaotic with the recollections of our earnest memories. This chaos is affiliated to my heartstrings that are a companion to the pool. The heartstrings surrender to a seduction. I focus on the stranger's touch who grazes my body to subside my apprehension. This pleasure is addictive. Your fidelity was addictive. What else am I supposed to do? The lust compensates for the withdrawal of your embrace. The appease from the pasture and reimburses the rush of being with you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, so, all right, well, that's about it, poetry lovers. Thank you very much, Kat, for taking the time to be with us. We will catch you on February 5th at Nocturne, where we will hear more of your poetic evolution.
You hear the conclusion.
Right. Dun, dun, dun.
The big finale.
That's right. Thank you so much, everybody. Poetry lives.